Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Barry Gaines from Gaines Entertainment and the writer, creator, and choreographer and editor of A World of Worlds that you can actually see on Amazon and Google Play. But enough about me. I have one of my stars from my series, Deziree Rosbeck, who plays Chip, the Queen of Thieves, and she's here to join us, to talk with us. So, Des, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I am super excited.
No deal, you ugly fuckers! Let's go! Come on! Come with it! I'm gonna cut parts off of you that you didn't even know you fucking had, you little bitch!
Oh, no, sire. It's me, Chip, remember? Are you Eric right now? Maybe you're Eric. Hey, I'm Chip. You know what? I'm gonna go get Sophia. She knows exactly what to do. Just give me 1 second.
Chip. It's alright. It's alright. My memory is just fine.
Awesome. Yeah, we're glad to have you here, you know what I mean? So, this new interview thing that I'm doing, really want to have you on. And this is all about the sci-fi action genre. Our sci-fi action genre is a little different than others. And I like, and people really love this genre. I love this genre. You love this genre. And we don't have enough people actually talking about just about the genre itself, behind the scenes, what we do, how we prep, why we love it, and why other people gravitate to it. So, but as an actress, it's a little different than as say coming through the eyes of like a director myself or a writer. So as an actress, I know there's going to be, just differences as opposed to like a drama. So, but before we get into all of that, I'm quite sure people want to know, where did you start? Like, why did you how did you start being an actress? Where does it all began?
Well, honestly, a lot of it started, I moved down here from Florida. It'll be about 6 years this July. Wow. And it was just one of those things. I watched a lot of movies and I was like, that looks like so much fun. Like, how cool to become somebody else besides yourself, and, do a scene or become a different character or become like a mean girl when you're really not, just kind of bringing out a person to life. So I was terrified. I was actually terrified at first. I'm your average Joe. I'm not going to go far in this industry. I don't even know where to begin. So my first audition I did. So the funny part with it, I was looking on like different sites and stuff that were advertising, hiring actors, actresses, stuff like that. And I was kind of really leery about it because I'm like, I don't know these people. I have no idea who these people are. So long story short, there was an audition and he said he sent me the script. I didn't get the script and I didn't want to say I didn't get it because I didn't want him to think I was stupid because I'm like, I can't find it. So I was like, okay, I have an idea of what the story is about. I have an idea of what the character is about. I'm just going to wing it and call it a day. I'm like, I have to record something and send it to him. So I literally recorded an audition on my phone by myself at home. And I edited it and everything like that. And I told him, I said, hey, I couldn't get the link to open. And I didn't want to be a pain. So I sent it to him and he loved it. He's like, the fact that you didn't have a script and you just decided to pretty much ad-lib it all and just go with it, just go with the flow, I ended up getting the part. So it was super exciting. Like, me? Are you sure? Are you sure? Me? So there was one scene. I was supposed to swim in a pool. So it was a horror film. And I'm this house sitter. And I'm supposed to be swimming in this pool. And then there's supposed to be like a cast up of the camera, like of this creepy guy in the background. So anyways, well, the pool was cold, freezing cold. So he goes, just so you know, the pool's going to be a little bit cold. you know, we're going to try to do the best we can. And I'm like, how do I do this? So I was taking cold showers because I hate cold water. So I'm taking cold showers to prep to get my butt in that cold pool because I'm like, I'm doing it. I didn't actually have to do it because the person they rented the house from, they didn't clean the pool. So the pool was disgusting. So I kind of got out of that one. Like, so that was like super exciting about that. I didn't actually have to do that, but my willingness to prep myself for that, because I was terrified. I'm like, I despise cold water. Like, but I was like, I got to do this because I need to prove that I can do this. I can do the scene and I'm going to do it. So yeah.
That's right. That is one of the reasons why I have you on my crew. I mean, you just you jump in, you give it a shot, because we're all in the same boat. We're kind of like, well, let's just try it out. You know what I mean? See what happens. You may just find out about something that you never knew about yourself that can really kind of get you to the next level. It makes you grow. Now, well, tell me this, like now doing what you do, you know, actresses, actors all go through different directors, different environments. I mean, how do you, number one, what inspires you to keep going? Because I know not every day is the best day. What keeps you going?
I think what keeps me honestly going is the fact that this is something I'm doing that I love. Even though, you know, most actors and actresses starting off, they're not getting paid for it. And the fact that I'm doing this job without getting paid for it really truly means something. Like, I've traveled all over Florida. Like, I've been to every city, every little nook and cranny by just driving for auditions, filming locations, and some of them are really far. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is something I truly want to do. And if I've been doing it for, I think about almost 5 years now, if I've been doing it for 5 years and I'm doing it for free, it's got to be something you truly love. And I feel that if you're willing to do it without pay, you truly enjoy and love what you do. Right,
because you know what? In this business, the money's going to come. You just have to.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, the money's
definitely, but you have to give in order to receive, and you have to put yourself out there.
Nice. Now, what about now doing all of this? What's your how do you prep? Like, I mean, do you have a thing like before you get on set or day before, like, you know?
It's different every time. So it all really depends on what I'm doing. So sometimes I will literally read my lines the night before and call it good, because I feel if I over rehearse, now I'm overthinking it, because I want it to come naturally. I want it just to kind of flow. And I always tell myself, it's okay if I miss a line. It's okay if it doesn't come out the way I want it to, because maybe it will just work. When I start prepping, when I get my clothes on, my hats and all that sort of stuff, especially for Chip, when I get everything on, I now become Chip.
And Chip is actually the character in The World of Worlds, my series, right? That's on Amazon.
Yes. So I try to, once those clothes are on, I'm Chip. I'm Chip, and like, I'm no longer Chip when I take off the clothes. So it's kind of one of those things, as soon as I put it on, it's kind of an instant, like, my lines start forming differently in my head, because now I have the flow, I have the motion, I have her, you know, persona. It's kind of like built now on me, you know, so it's really interesting. So yeah.
So do you recommend most of the time to kind of eat a certain way before they shoot? Do you recommend?
Definitely, because your body needs to cleanse. Your body needs to cleanse itself out. I'm lactose intolerant, terribly lactose intolerant, and I will still eat dairy, but I won't the week. But I won't eat any dairy because I'm lactose intolerant the week before, because my body needs that time to cleanse anything out, because I don't know how it's going to react or act. Every time's different. So I just try to stick to very fruits, vegetables, very simple and very clean.
Yeah, you don't want the lactose rolling up in the middle of the scene.
Oh my God, yeah. And like, I won't eat anything heavy, because if you're like, you know, eating pizza before you got to film, now you feel greasy and gross, and you don't feel like, on top of your game.
And everything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's good to know that people don't know that. Now, when you prepping for the role, how do you prep for like an action role? I mean, because you have done that, sci-fi action stuff that also takes place in environments like outside. It's not all pretty with the lights indoors with AC. A lot of times you're outside with the with the elements, with the real world, and you're trying to get things done with all this stuff on. You be there for hours. You're limited on food. You're limited on water. I mean, how do you prep for those scenes?
So for stuff like that, I always come over prepared. I always make sure I bring all my makeup. I bring anything extra. I'm going to be sweating. I bring deodorant. I'll sometimes even bring like, maybe like towels just to kind of blot like any sweat off. I'll bring my hairbrush. We're outside. I got to brush my hair. I always have gum just because you're outside. It's hot. It's clammy. I always bring water, snacks. Usually most of the cast eats my snacks, but I always bring extra just because there's people, they do come unprepared. They do come. Actually, Rob eats all my snacks. He does.
What have you learned, you think, out of all these crazy experiences that you had, so far, because you've been in the game for 5 years, hardcore. And, in between work and all kinds, like all of us, which we want to work on this full time.
Right. Yeah.
We do, figure that our jobs are pretty much just a job. What we really do and what we meant to do is what we're trying to make our jobs. So while you're doing this, out of all these years so far, if someone came to you and said, what have you learned? Like, I want to do this. Like, what have you learned so far about your own career, about yourself, from the time you started, like, to now?
I think a lot of it is, my biggest learning experience is who I'm working with as a director, and also my cast I'm working with. I've been on different sets and, with different directors, and some directors are more prepared than others. Some directors are not more prepared than others. And it can be very frustrating because I'm taking this time to be here. And I've always been a helping hand. I've always learned to help. So I'm not just an actor behind the camera. I can also be a light assistant. I can be a camera assistant and a script supervisor.
You gotta have 5 arms and do a little bit, a little bit of that.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, a lot of these directors are doing it by themselves. They really are. And, if I want to speed this up a little bit, if maybe I'm on a time crunch, maybe I got somewhere else to go and I'm like, dang, this director is a little bit slower than I thought, I want to help out, so I've learned to not just be the actor or the actress behind camera, also to like, hey, what do you need help with? I'm not filming right now. What do you need? Because when I'm also helping, I'm also learning. I'm learning what you're doing as a director. I'm learning like, oh, I've never seen that before, compared to if I'm just sitting in the back room waiting for my turn. I'm actually out there seeing different things that they're doing, different camera angles, different, I'm also even watching the actors, I'm learning from them like, oh, cool. So, it's, don't just be the actor and actress, because, these independent filmmakers need help too. And sometimes their crew may just call out or not show up, or things happen, or maybe they're stuck in traffic, but you can be that helping hand. So I always learn to help along the way.
Yeah, I always feel that every genre has a culture. And people, a lot of times for a certain culture, people are going to sound the same. They're going to look the same. They're going to think the same, because that's what they fit. That's the box they fit in. So a lot of people kind of start looking the same or sounding the same. So like when it comes to filming, this whole show business thing, I think some people feel that, it doesn't matter which one you go in, everyone's going to pretty much be the same way. Do you find that in your experience that if you was going to a set where it's a romantic comedy and then you go into a set, it's a big sci-fi action film, do you feel that the culture is the same?
No, not at all. It's completely different. Completely different. I mean, there's some directors I've worked with, and the set's always the same with the people, but it's the people, you know? So like when I film on different sets, sometimes I'm like, I don't talk to the people. You know, I almost kind of feel like, great, they think I'm like this big bitch, and I'm not, but it's just, we don't click at all. And when I got on the World of Worlds set, you know, everyone was so friendly and introducing themselves and joking and having a good time. And, you know, sometimes we get so carried away, we almost forget, like, hey, we actually have to film now.
No, poor guys, we got how much time. Yeah, we do that, don't we?
You know, but that's a good thing, because it makes me feel comfortable. You know, when you pick a good group of people that can all function and work together, that's where you get that chemistry of people. You build that chemistry, and it just comes naturally, and it's absolutely amazing. I've had a couple films where I've had it, but not a lot. It's just kind of like, did you just pick these people off the street? Like, who are they?
Yeah, you get a lot.
You know, I've worked with people that don't even know their lines. And it is very frustrating, because I prepare myself, I prep myself. Some people get the script that day. I completely understand that, where like, hey, an actress called out, we need you to do it. And, you know, I get that.
Well, what kind of roles do you really like, that you like to play in the future? Are there something there that you're like, you know what, I'd love to do that one day? I liked playing a very strong, badass woman, because it's one of those things I love seeing that. But I also like being the mean girl, because I never get to be the mean person, you know? So how cool to be like this mean girl and just say like terrible, rude things and be like, yeah, I totally got away with that because I can, you know, like I can. Do you see yourself veering off to a particular area more than you did when you first started? Do you have like a good idea of like, I know you say you like that, but is that that's pretty much what I like. If I have to do that all the time, I'm happy.
I like action adventure because it's something you get to do. I think action films are really cool because you get to jump, you get swords, you get guns, you get all this cool stuff. And I love fantasy because I like escaping reality. You know, if I can picture a fireball in my hand and then I get to watch myself on film with a freaking fireball in my hand, I can be like, I have a fireball in my hand. How cool. You know, like how cool.
Well, just let people know too that Deziree Rosbeck, who is in World of Worlds, also will be in another film that we're going to get together soon. We're working on, and just look for her probably next year sometime as being a vampire. That's going to be really fun that we're working on. So if someone out there was like, hey, listen, you know, I really want to kind of do this acting thing. I did a few, but I'm not sure if I want to continue. What's like a do's and don'ts that you can like, you know, advise somebody, you know, who wants to start out or anything that, and this do's and don'ts that you personally learned that helped you?
I would say, you know, like I said, preparing yourself. A lot of the sets I've been on, I try to understand, you know, what my character is. So say if the person's like, oh, we're going to supply your wardrobe. Always bring a wardrobe. Always. Because what if they forgot it? What if something happened? Just always be extra prepared. Bring a wardrobe.
That's right. You do that. Now, now we don't want people that don't do what? What would you say? Like, man, if someone came to you and be like, listen, you go in their face, you grab their constant, listen, don't do this. What's that?
Don't be the know-it-all. Don't be that smart-ass know-it-all like, oh, well, I've been on this film and I've been on this film and I get it, but don't be that person, because now you're creating that persona for yourself. You're creating that, you know, that's who I'm working with. And I've worked with those people, and it's like, we're all here. We all want to do this. You know, don't tell the director how to direct. Don't do that. Offer help is always a good one. You know, definitely offer your help. Offer your assistance. I'm here if you need me. Definitely do that.
But I want to say, Deziree Rosbeck, thank you so much for being on the set here and interviewing and answering my questions here and just showing people and telling people who you are, what you've done, things you learned. I mean, it's great. And also being in sci-fi action films, as you know, is just so much different, and you just have to be in this different headspace at times. And just to understand that it takes a lot to do these things, and it's so much fun. Not saying the others don't, but it's just different. And then you're prepping everything, putting your costume on, and then having a sword and all kinds of things like that, and learning how to wheel it and all kinds of stuff. It's different.
I didn't know how to hold a freaking samurai sword.
Yeah, you do now.
I do now. So there's so much you learn from it. And like I said, I love working on sci-fi because there's so many things that can go on. And the great part about it, it doesn't have to be like, oh, well, that's not how it's supposed to be. Because sci-fi, it's kind of like the up in the air. You can create and do whatever you want.
And there's
it's
no
a whole
law.
different
You
world.
make the law. You know what I mean? Like you make the law.
Exactly. You make it. And, I learn all the time when I'm on there because something that I have in my mind may not be something that you were thinking. So, but like I said, I really enjoy it. I love it. I cannot wait to start filming again. I had so much fun on the boat scene.
Okay. All right, guys. The boat scene she's talking about is actually season 2 of War of the Worlds, and no one's seen yet. So, yeah, it's going to be really cool with the boat scene when it's all done. That's what she's talking about. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
That was so cool. That was awesome. It was great. We have a good.
We got a lot more to do, so we got a lot. We're on a hiatus now because it's COVID-19. But once they lift it, that we can get out, we're going back to work. So get ready for that. Deziree Rosbeck, thank you so much for being on Sci-Fi Action Creators Lounge with me, Barry Gaines of Gaines Entertainment, and we will be seeing you guys soon again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.